Hi students, this is Mrs. Rudd, and today we are going to be working on our digital citizenship lesson. So please go to Google Classroom and go to under classwork and go to the password power up assignment. And in there, you're going to find, of course, you'll have this video, and then you'll also will find that there's this document. Okay, so watch this video and then I'll explain to you what the document is for. So today we are talking about password power up, and we want to talk a little bit of why passwords are important and strong passwords. So let's take a look. It says, how can a strong password help protect your privacy? So we're going to define the term password and describe its purpose, understand why a strong password is important, and practice creating a memorable and strong password. So here we've got some questions. What is something in your life that takes steps to protect? So just stop and pause the video for a moment and think about that. Think about what in your life that you need to protect. For an example, your house. Perhaps your mom and dad have lights outside their house. Perhaps they have a security camera or cameras. You lock your doors at night. So that's an example of something you might protect. You could even protect yourself. You watch both ways. You look both ways walking down the street or crossing the street. You don't play in the street, things like that. So here's another question. Why and how do you protect it? Okay, so I'm giving you a couple examples. So I want you just to think about that for just a minute and pause this video. Okay, now we're going to look at the word password. Say the word password. A secret string of letters, symbols, and numbers that you can use to restrict who can access something digital. Okay, so we have passwords here just to get on our computer, so you know all about that. You use passwords to get in onto other things that we use here at school. So those are really a good example. And our passwords here are set a certain way for our Google accounts, and that's to help protect our accounts. So you notice on there, it requires for you to have letters, symbols, and numbers. So we'll talk about that when we talk about our passwords. And phrase. Now, one of the things that Common Sense Media encourages is you to use a phrase. You should never use things like your personal information that we talked about in class. You can't use your first name, your last name, your address, your phone number, your school. So anything that's personal or private information. So a phrase, a group of words that go together and are easy to remember. So that is something you want to think of. Think of the word phrase, okay? And when we go to set up our passwords. Now, here are some tips to remember. Start with a memorable phrase. Only your parents should know your passwords. Never use any private identity information in your password, which we just talked about. Create passwords with at least 8 characters. Use letters, numbers, and symbols in your password. So please pause the video and now read this yourself so you know the tips. Okay, so now we are going to create our own password. So here we've got, it says your directions. Open the document in Google Classroom and create your own password. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example below. First, it talked about a phrase. So I'm going to think of the phrase, my best friend. So this is it. I'm just going to use the first letters. Best friend. Oh, I said is great. Okay. So there's a phrase. So you can think of something like that. Now I'm going to just use some numbers And then I'm going to add